Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's explainer, we're going straight under the hood into the hidden machinery of the modern digital economy. We tap our phones, we swipe our cards, and we just watch the balances tick up and down. But beneath that totally frictionless surface, there is a high-stakes, incredibly complex ecosystem of moving parts. Today, we're taking the cover right off that machine to see exactly how the engine, the brakes, and the plumbing are evolving in real time.
Okay, let's just dive right into this because, wow, yesterday was an absolutely monumental day in the financial technology space. Three massive events shook the very foundations of fintech, all within hours of each other. We had the artificial intelligence layer making moves to go public, a massive cross-border payments giant getting summoned by European prosecutors, and a quiet, completely behind-the-scenes upgrade to the digital plumbing that handles millions of stock portfolios. Here's the roadmap for this explainer. First, the fintech trio. Then, Anthropic as the AI engine. Third, Wise and the compliance brakes. Fourth, Cash App's invisible plumbing. And we'll wrap it up with the big takeaway.
All right, part one, the fintech trio. Let's look at the modern ecosystem.
Moving right along to part two, Anthropic, the AI engine powering the back office. Moving money looks incredibly simple, right? You hit send, the money's there. But that whole seamless experience relies on a ridiculously interconnected ecosystem. And yesterday, the absolute high-octane engine driving that ecosystem, Anthropic, made a huge move. They filed confidential plans for an IPO aiming for October 2026. Now, what's really wild is this number. Their post-money valuation just hit a staggering $965 billion. That's after closing a $65 billion Series H round. It is literally the highest valuation ever recorded for a private AI company. Honestly, it's a number so massive, it kind of breaks your traditional mental models of startup growth.
And you can completely see why that valuation is so sky high. The investor syndicate here, it's a total who's who of the financial heavyweights. You've got Sequoia, Blackstone, Fidelity, Coatue. Basically, if you have a massive checkbook right now, you want a piece of this action. And the Wall Street giants, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, they are all expected to fight tooth and nail to lead this IPO.
But listen, this isn't just empty hype, okay? There is a massive financial engine actually backing this up. Anthropic recently crossed a $47 billion revenue run rate. Let that sink in. They're projecting a 130% revenue surge, putting them right on track for their very first operating profit. Wall Street is aggressively positioning for this because, well, financial momentum like this for a private company, it's practically unheard of.
So what does this actually mean for the fintech space? Well, the crucial point here is that Anthropic's AI, Claude, is the hidden layer operating beneath the entire financial sector right now. It's quietly running compliance workflows, it's hunting down fraud, it's crunching complex financial research. Basically, the AI that's been quietly running fintech's back office just knocked on Wall Street's door and said, hey, we want in on the front. When the AI layer that runs your entire stack decides it wants a near trillion-dollar payout, the whole industry has to stop and seriously figure out what that dependency is actually going to cost.
Which brings us to part three, Wise, the compliance brakes. And yeah, they had a very bad Monday. So what happens when that incredible, high-speed engine totally outpaces the vehicle's ability to actually hit the brakes? Right now, Wise is living that exact nightmare. See, their whole core product, the feature everyone absolutely loves, is moving money across borders at lightning speed. But that is violently clashing with the reality of needing to know exactly whose money you're moving. Belgian prosecutors just confirmed they are deep into a massive money laundering probe into Wise's European operations. We're talking about roughly 500 million euros, that's about $582 million, in highly suspicious transactions tied to fraud, drug trafficking, and corruption across over 30 different countries. And you know what? This isn't even their first run-in. Back in 2024, Belgium's National Bank already forced Wise into a strict remediation plan because they failed to verify hundreds of thousands of customers. And this brutally illustrates the worst possible timing. This massive criminal probe is hitting right on the heels of their NASDAQ primary listing. Today, a formal court summons is actively being drafted by those prosecutors. So no surprise here, the market panicked, and Wise's stock tanked by as much as 19% over in London. Now, Wise came out with a statement saying, hey, we're cooperating, we haven't seen any specific findings yet, but frankly, that really didn't stop the bleeding. The market reaction proves that broken brakes can literally derail even the fastest fintech vehicles overnight. It's a live real-time warning for competitors like Remitly, Western Union, and honestly every single cross-border player out there. When you operate at a global scale, rock-solid compliance infrastructure is not a nice-to-have, it is not optional. Moving money fast, that's a great feature. But keeping dirty money out, that's survival.
All right, let's pivot to part 4, Cash App and the invisible plumbing. Let's step away from the flashy AI valuations and the dramatic criminal probes for a second and look at the unsexy but incredibly vital plumbing that actually keeps this whole ecosystem from springing a leak. While everyone was distracted by those trillion-dollar headlines, Block's Cash App investing quietly pulled off a massive back-end swap. Effective June 8th, they seamlessly migrated their clearing broker from Drive Wealth over to Apex Clearing Corporation. Customers don't have to lift a finger, it's completely automatic, and the fact that millions of users won't even realize this happened, well, that is exactly the hallmark of phenomenal plumbing.
Let's take a quick second to demystify that jargon. What actually is a clearing broker? Basically, they are the heavy lifting back end of trading. They hold the custody of the assets, they make sure your trade confirmations actually go through, and they handle all that incredibly complex tax reporting. They are literally the rails that the entire stock market train runs on.
So why does this quiet little upgrade matter so much? Because Apex is arguably one of the most institutionally credible clearing firms in the country. This move massively hardens Cash App's investing infrastructure. I mean, look at competitors like Robinhood and SoFi. They are constantly deepening their product offerings, right? Block knows they absolutely cannot afford a back end that lags behind. Apex is actually the exact same clearer powering several other major retail brokerages right now. Block is just quietly sliding onto best-in-class rails while nobody is watching. Because having flawless, totally invisible infrastructure, that's the real secret to winning the long game in consumer fintech.
Finally, Section 5, the big takeaway. Let's look at the whole machine.
So we've looked at the engine, the brakes, and the plumbing. When you pull back and look at this entire explainer on one single Monday, we just watched 3 major players head toward 3 incredibly different destinations. You've got Anthropic, the AI engine, putting the pedal to the metal toward the public markets at a near trillion-dollar valuation. You have Wise, struggling with failing compliance breaks, skidding straight toward a criminal court summons. And then there's Cash App, quietly and methodically upgrading its foundation, seamlessly connecting to Apex Clearing.
It leaves us with a pretty massive question, right? If the plumbing is designed to be completely silent and the AI engine is just roaring, getting louder and louder by the minute, what hidden part of your fintech stack is under pressure to break next? Seriously, think about that the next time you open up a financial app on your phone. To stay ahead of these kinds of massive industry shifts, make sure you're subscribed to Fintech Stacks for your daily signal. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today to unpack the hidden machinery of modern finance, and I will catch you in the next explainer.